forgot about it.
They grow up and like motion.
Hey, Thomas.
That's Sarah. They're the ballot counters, and they'll pick up the ballots from the judges, and then, I'm a timer too, so I'll just be the timer and I'll. Yeah, we will. We have to write down there's.
Some years ago.
You guys decided for Isn't this fun?
So, Toni, I can go up and I can smile at everybody. You're not going to start the clock until.
Not until you utter your first word or some string.
Smile with the judge. That's what we're
This is what I briefed the judges of. So this is like the judges against the others.
You're being paged.
Call this meeting to order of the Central Florida Facilitators Toastmasters Club 9958 to order. Thank you all for being here tonight. If you have phones or other electronic devices that make noise, please put them on silent mode or turn them off for the duration of this meeting. Restrooms are located down at the end of the next hallway. Go out this room and turn left. Turn left at the first hallway you see, and the restrooms will be down towards the end of that hall on the right-hand side. And now I'd like to call up Scott Maloney to do our pledge and invocation.
Our inspirational thought of the day is about the heart. By that I mean the stillness at the center of our being. The heart's matrix is a synergistic center of awareness, which perceives a unified relationship to all it is. Compared to the mind, it's a function of intelligence based on the ultimate in simplicity and synchronicity. The dysfunctional problems associated with ego, like Vespi described as the result of surrogate identities attempting to displace the soul's true self. Genius is not a matter of IQ, it's a power indigenous to all when the mind is developed and skilled in serving the heart's greater calling and insight. Would you please join me for the pledge, fellow Toastmasters? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's me? Okay.
Wrong script.
Wrong script. Welcome everybody to Central Florida Facilitators Toastmasters Club 9958 to our International Speech and Table Topics Contest. We are so happy to have everybody here and I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a great contest. Please be careful of our little cord next to the timing lights. There's been a couple people trip on them already, so please keep your eye out on that if you're coming up to the front. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our contest master this evening. He is honored to be serving in this capacity. Although, actually, though, he thought that by serving as contest master, nobody would pay attention to the fact that he didn't bring any of the foods or drinks. He thought this would be a cheaper way to go, but after spending hours writing and rewriting his script, buying new socks, getting a haircut, taking his suit to the cleaners, he realized that once again his decision-making is seriously flawed. He is glad to be your contest master tonight, but for the next contest, he'll just bring broccoli. Please help me welcome our contest master this evening, Mark Lockery.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, I will be your contest master this evening for table topics. And also, as we are running a buy one, get one free at Central Florida Facilitators, I will also be the contest master for the International Speech Contest. Before we kick things off, though, let me first acknowledge the dignitaries that are in attendance this evening. First, we have David Barrett. If you could stand up, please. Our Division D Director is here. Scott Maloney, Area 31 Director, is here. And Edwin Mercado, the Audit Committee Chair, is in attendance this evening. Also, we have our Area 42 Director, Thomas Blake, is here. This is an annual contest that takes place at the club level every February. And I would encourage anybody out there who is eligible to participate in a speech contest to do so. It's a great way to work on your public speaking skills. Our first contest tonight is the Table Topics Contest. And our winner tonight will advance to the area, possibly division, and possibly district level competition. Each step of the way, more exciting, more thrilling, as there are a new set of judges, a new set of competitors, and a new audience. I know just for me, getting disqualified at the district level was much more as exciting as when I got disqualified at the club level. So it's great. Pay attention to the red lights, everybody. At this time, our Chief Judge, Sarah Hunt, will go over some of the rules for our Table Topics contest for the benefit of the contestants and the audience.
I'll do that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Susan.
Basically, all of our judges and functionaries have been briefed and everybody knows what they're doing. So we will be moving on and the contest is ready, set to go. Thank you, Mr. Contest Master.
Okay, just for everybody's awareness, the speaking area is basically anywhere on an open floor space. Just do not hop up on the tables and you'll be fine. We have 5 speakers for our Table Topics contest tonight. They have drawn their speaking order, and it is as follows. Speaking first, Stephen Morgan. Speaking second, Jaye Majors. Speaking third, Jonathan Dunn. Speaking fourth, Toni Gills. Speaking fifth, Timothy Rickey. In just a moment, I will ask the Sergeant-at-Arms to take out all but the first speaker and escort them down the hall into the room of silence. There's no flash photography permitted tonight. And I just want to check, are the speakers okay with the video recorder being on in the back of the room? No objections to that? Okay? The speaking area has been identified. We are using the standard Table Topics time limit, 1 to 2 minutes. The green light will go on at 1 minute, orange light at 1 minute 30 seconds, red light at 2 minutes. Please make sure all your cell phones are off or on vibrate. We have a couple of CPAs in the room. If you brought your abacus, please refrain from using it during the contest tonight. At this time, if the Sergeant-at-Arms will escort everybody except Stephen Morgan down to the quiet room. Timers, if we could have a minute of silence on the timer before we get started, please.
1 minute.
I was not able to decide on one of the 6 table topics questions that was presented to me. So I'll let our first contestant draw an envelope, and that will be the question that we use for all of the contestants tonight. Should I let that? Our first contestant, Stephen Morgan. Worst superhero ever. Worst superhero ever. Stephen Morgan.
It comes when you least expect it. And it's always at the worst time because your heart is pounding, your hands are clammy, and your mind has just gone blank. It's Toastmaster Man. Doesn't it always happen to be? It's right at that moment when you didn't want it, all the preparation you put in, to be able to get up in front of the audience, and then it all just disappears. Because Toastmaster Man just walked up behind you. His superpowers you've already experienced. Every one of us has come across it. But he does have a weakness. That weakness, standing and keep going forward. See, the real power behind Toastmaster Man is that he makes you freeze and he makes you want to stop. He makes you want to run away from the things that you fear. But the truth is that is all he can do. All he can do is prompt you, make you feel like everything's going to fall apart. But he can't make anything fall apart. And the fascinating thing about all of it is as Toastmaster Man's walking behind you, and everyone else sees him except for you, is that everyone out there is just going, oh, I'm glad it's not me. See, that is Toastmaster Man's arch nemesis, not me. But the truth is, as long as you're willing to stand there and take all the pummeling that he can give you, then he can do nothing to you. You have all the power within yourself, and the power dispels anything Toastmaster Man had. Just remember, it's not me. Mr. Collins.
If we could have 1 minute on the clock, please, for the judges to complete their tally sheets. Our next contestant, Jaye Majors. Worst superhero ever. Worst superhero ever. Jaye Majors.
The The worst superhero ever. Well, there are quite a few in my opinion, but I would really prefer to talk about who the best superhero is. The best superhero in my life is my daughter. She is the most amazing young person that you'll ever meet. She is tough as nails. She has gone through unbelievable things in her life and still managed to be on the top of her game in everything she does. She cares about other people. She has graduated straight A's with masters in mental health counseling while working full-time, going to school full-time, and doing a 20-hour-a-week internship. She is now working at the juvenile detention facility in Orlando, and she is taking her time and her life and her motivation to work with the saddest, toughest, hardest children that you will ever want to meet. The stories are heartbreaking. I don't know how she does it. I don't believe I would ever have the strength that she has to walk into the room with one of these kids who were brought in by the police for whatever it was they did, and sit down across the table from them and pour herself into them and let them give back to her. When she walks out sometimes, the tears, the heartbreak, and the children that she works with, she tells me the stories about how much they love her and they request her. She started a group session there that was never done before, and the girls that are in that group, it's for the women, ask for her every week. They look for that. In my opinion, the hero of my life is my daughter, Heather Ashley Gudkin Rojas. Thank you.
We can have 1 minute on the clock, please. Our next contestant, Jonathan Dunn. Worst superhero ever. Worst superhero ever. Jonathan Dunn.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, the worst superhero ever, in my opinion, is Wonder Woman. Just kidding to all you sexists out there. Wonder Woman was actually my favorite superhero, as I was first introduced to her by my sister when I was 13. But to not avoid the question like so many of the politicians these days, the worst superhero for me, believe it or not, was the Hulk. And I think one of the reasons why I felt the Hulk was the worst superhero is he was this mild-mannered, highly intelligent scientist that unfortunately had the gamma radiation that turned him into the Hulk. And as a young boy, being introduced to the Hulk by my brother, I recognized myself within that scientist. And when I saw the Hulk get angry, I saw the Hulk, that side of the Hulk in myself. And for whatever reason, from being 10 years old on, I had felt so much shame when I got anger. So when I would see the Hulk get angry and turn into that big green beast, I would think to myself, gosh, I got angry last week. I wonder if I looked that foolish. So for me, the worst superhero, believe it or not, was the Hulk. And the reason I feel he was the worst was because I had a lot of shame as a child, and I related to the Hulk. Mr. Contest Master.
The timers will please give us 1 minute on the clock. Judges can complete their scorecards. Our next contestant, Toni Gittles. Worst superhero ever. Worst superhero ever. Toni Gittles.
Seriously.
I didn't think it.
My cousin, he should have been a role model for me. He and my dad went into business, bought a big company, spent $1 million on this company. And you know what? Now that I think about it, he's kind of a Donald Trump kind of guy. You guys know Donald Trump. I mean, his hair's much better. But he was a terrible owner, a terrible boss. He didn't know the employees' names. Well, he knew my name. I was his cousin. I think that's about it. My dad was his partner. There was a lot of money involved in this company. We had $180. He should have been my hero. He was a businessman. He was an entrepreneur. He was an attorney. He was an accountant. I could have learned so much from him. What did I learn? How not to be mean to people. How not to be mean to your employees. How not to show respect to your employees. This is the truth. After my dad died, I left my company. Worst superhero ever. Seriously. Mr. Contest Master.
Can we get 1 minute on the clock, please?
One minute.
Our next contestant, Timothy Rickey. Worst superhero ever. Worst superhero ever. Timothy Rickey.
standing here. This simply did not work out. Split the bottom of the pants. Could keep my socks rolled up. I was 8 years old and I was trying to play a superhero in school. I made up my own name for it. Mr. Spaghetti Flashman. That sounds unusual, but I had a lot of Italian friends in the audience and I wanted to win. So I try and go through all of these steps and all of these moves that they have that we certainly don't have, and we didn't have TV to adjust it accordingly as they do today. So playing that hero was all the lessons, so because you have a lot of failures, and from those failures you learn lessons. And that's what life is about. It's not about failing, it's about learning. It's a learning experience every time you try something that you're afraid of. Step through that door of fear. After all, there's an acronym for that. False evidence appearing real is what fear is all about. And if you do step through it, every time it's dispelled. That happens. Has anybody heard Tony Robbins? Yes. Sure, a few of you have heard him. Okay. He talks about this all the time. And he's absolutely right, because I've watched him change people from a stage, and they're on the jumbotrons, and he changes their lives right in front of you. And you watch them go from tears to joy, all in one big step, because they faced fear. But they couldn't do it alone. They needed that little push, that little shove that everybody is behind them. And when the whole audience is cheering for you, you're going to do it, because now they're pushing you more than just yourself. So the opportunity to be your own superhero can be turned around completely, and you can do that on your own. Mr. Tabletop.
At this time, all of our contestants have spoken. So please give me 2 minutes on the clock so the judges can complete their ballots, and the ballot counters will retrieve them for the tally. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our exciting evening is only halfway completed. You're starting to come down from your adrenaline rush. I invite you to go back and have some more sugar and snacks. And we also have a 50-50 raffle going tonight. Half of the proceeds will go to you, the other half will go to the club. So please be generous with your money. The chances of winning this are a lot higher than winning the Powerball. So at this time, we will adjourn for 10 minutes for snacks.
Nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. That's Emma. That's my daughter. She comes to the club too. Yeah. She's at Seminole State. She goes to the Seminole State Club too. Hereby call me Jerry. Yeah, she would come with us when your parents come in. I need to make her come.
So people, all the speakers tonight, are they like the
Please
best
beg
of
you
best?
to all take your seats to reconvene this meeting. Every year, in the month of February, more than 30,000 Toastmasters members, representing more than 14,500 clubs from all around the globe, present in 125 countries, start a journey that will take them competing at 6 different levels of competition. The club level is the only one in which any Toastmasters can sign up for this competition. For the other levels, you always need to win the previous level. From club level, you win to earn your pass to area level. From area level, you need to win to earn your pass to division level. From division level, you need to win to earn your pass to the district level. When you win at the district level, you earn your pass for the semifinals, to which only 98 contestants from those more than 30,000 contestants earn their pass to one of 10 semifinal rounds, trying to earn their pass to the final competition. The World Championship of Public Speaking, celebrated every year in the month of August through the Toastmasters International Annual Convention. Here tonight, we are gathered to witness the best speakers from Central Florida facilitators who have the pride in representing this club at the next level. And I ask you all to join me in a big round of applause for all of them. It is my privilege to be here with all of you to witness the great competition, the great banquet that they have prepared for us tonight. And I now introduce your contest masters for this contest, Mr. Mark Lockery.
Thank you, Edwin. Just a side note from that, I believe the last 3 district level conference contests have all had representatives from the winner of this club. Last 4, actually. So, I don't want to put any pressure on you guys. But that's awesome in itself. Our second contest this evening is the International Speech Competition, like Edwin had just said. The winner for this contest will advance to the area, and then possibly the division, the district, and then the international level. Susan, would you like to go over some rules for this competition?
No, I think we've all been briefed. We really know what's going on, so I think let the contest begin.
The only difference is this competition, we will observe the 5 to 7 minute time limit for speeches. The green light will go on in 5 minutes, the yellow light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes. We have 4 contestants for this contest, and they have drawn their speaking order, and it is as follows. Speaking first, Jonathan Dunn. Speaking second, Toni Gittles. Speaking third, Timothy Rickey. Speaking fourth, Stephen Morgan. All contestants are permitted to stay in the room while the other contestants speak at this competition. At this time, would the timers please give us 1 minute of silence before we begin? Our first contestant, Jonathan Dunn. Start with your heart. Start with your heart, Jonathan Dunn.
Do you remember a time in your life when everything changed in an instant? When I was 10, life was simple. I had the best boss ever. My heart. When I listened to this boss, I found happiness in everything. From taking care of my dogs, to saving bugs out of the swimming pool, to sharing my candy. When I followed my heart, happiness wasn't a struggle. It was simply part of me. In an instant, hurricane unhappiness was about to sweep through my 5th grade graduation and devastate that young man. During the commencement, Principal Flanagan warned me, as you move from the small school to the big school, you will need to seriously start thinking about what you are going to do and have in your life so you can be successful. Passionately, he demanded, go out and get what you want. I was 10. This was my first sleepless night. I was so stressed, I developed this huge red zit on my nose. I looked like Rudolph, and it wasn't Christmas. Trying to then distract myself and numb my feelings, I turned on the TV. A Clearasil commercial came on, promising me clear skin and more friends if I bought their product. Suddenly, the principal's voice was the only one I heard. You are not enough. You will need things to be happy. I stopped following my heart that day, and I turned toward my ego. This whole day sent me down a path of chasing money, status, and a deep sense of quiet desperation. My ego happened to be aligned with the words of the principal. Go out and get what you want. My ego told me, take your time, take your talents, take your treasures, and get busy figuring out how to do and have. Candy sharing? No more. I now wore a trench coat to school and sold it for $1. 30 years later, I had all the artificial symbols of success. I had the car, I had the cash, I had the castle. If only Principal Flanagan could see me now. Yet, as I looked around at all these things, I felt empty. No longer was I a human being. I was a busy human doing. Doing what, you ask? Doing just about everything, which meant just about nothing to anyone, anywhere, and would mean even less 100 years from now. Life wasn't happy. It was self-indulgent. You can never get enough of things you don't need. We are born with this thirst for happiness, and I was dehydrated. I began to question the words of the principal. It's been said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. 1 week later, a man stepped into my office who changed my life. His name was Jaye Folk. Jaye was selfless. He had a crazy, cool commitment to leave everyone he met better off. The man never texted. It was always a phone call. Jaye and I became best friends. If you knew Jaye, he would never allow you to be second rate. I wanted to be first rate, so I went to Jaye for guidance. He smiled, told me, "John, any fool can make life complicated. The key I focus on every day is simple and available to all." It sounded like Yoda talking to Luke with a Southern type accent. He said, "Start with your heart." He told me if I make this a habit, I will find what is missing. You're probably wondering if it could be that simple. This truth had to be learned firsthand. Jaye dropped off the grid. 1 month later, he called, and I jumped to answer, and there was a long silence. Then I heard a great deal of sobbing from the both of us. This is the kind of call I don't wish on any of you. My best friend had terminal cancer and had been given 6 months. He wasn't going to take it lying down, though, and he asked me to help him fight this battle for his life. My mind was filled with noise, but then I remembered his words. Start with your heart. I stepped up and helped Jaye. By this time, he had undergone radical chemotherapy, leaving him devastated. One morning, while vomiting from the chemo, we set a goal to just get him out of the house. He shared with me it would mean the world to him if he could just get strong enough to take his wife on a date and feel normal. After weeks of pushing himself, they went on that date hand in hand, and they shared their love over an amazing dinner. That night I was smiling, ear to ear, tears streaming down my cheeks. I was so happy for them. Sadly, this would be their final date. Jaye went into the hospital with multiple organ failure. It was in intensive care, so I had to go in under the guise I was his son for a visit. And in typical Jaye fashion, as he lay there dying, he was sharing with me nothing but gratitude for being there. I told Jaye, "You saved me. You gave me something I could feel, something we could all feel if we want to lead a truly rich life." Jaye was barely able to whisper, but he said it one last time, "Start with your heart." He died the next day. Rediscovering my heart, it led me home back to happiness. I no longer believe the size of my bank account or the car I drive is what defines me as worthy or happy. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I appeal to you all. Consider Jaye's advice. What could be better in your own life than if you start with your heart? Perhaps everything, Mr. Contest Master.
We have 1 minute on the clock, please, for our judges to complete their scorecards.
Time's up.
Don't worry, we got a backup.
We do have a bad.
Chicken's done.
One minute.
Thank you. Our next contestant, Toni Gittles, Your Precious Life. Your Precious Life, Toni Gittles.
How will you use your one precious, glorious, extraordinary life? Mr. Contest Master and fellow humans, I've been reflecting on this question because after 11 years of taking care of my mother, now 98, and 11 years giving speeches in Toastmasters, honestly, something was missing. It led to a resolution I made the beginning of this year. The resolution was, how could I give and receive more love in my life every single day? How would I achieve this, I wondered? It's a great resolution. It's not one you give up on after a week. I decided, what if I woke up every morning and I just asked myself the question, what would I do to give and receive more love today? How can I put a little more love in my life and in the world? How can I support my best friends, my fellow Central Florida facilitators? You know, without being too overbearing, because I can really be overbearing. Then I would listen for the answer. And you know what? It's working! I've got more love in my life, and I love my life. Over time, I came to realize that while Toastmasters is about public speaking and leadership, right, David?
Yes.
Yeah, it's about those things.
Being a cheerleader.
The club is really a microcosm of the real world. We are a world. We are a universe here. We're a community. We're a family that hopefully enjoys Thanksgiving together. Let me elaborate. We're diverse in culture, religious and spiritual beliefs, sexuality. We have members that are immigrants from Russia, from Cuba, from England, from other countries, from Romania. We have a member that grew up under communist rule. Can you even imagine that? Yet we don't know each other. All the shared stories we told in Toastmasters, we know a lot, but there's more there. And I began to reflect on that. And I became embarrassed at how sometimes I was impatient with the members. I was critical and judgmental. Yeah, thanks. I know, I'm reflective. We are married. We are married multiple times. We are divorced. We are, what's that other word? Widowed. We're single. We're single parents. We're parents. We have no children. We are diverse. You get it? This is the world right here in this room. You know, we even have cat lovers and dog lovers and horse lovers. And I would bet you we got alligator lovers and iguana lovers. We just haven't heard about it yet. You know, we also have people experiencing their own personal struggles, health issues, relationships, caregiving, aging parents, addictions. We've got it all. This is the world right here. Because we're intelligent, creative people, there's a lot we can do here in Toastmasters. If life is about love, relationships, and connecting with each other, let's use Toastmasters to do that. What better environment to open our hearts to show we care about each other. Fellow humans, the world isn't only out that door. The world is in this room, and it must be a safe place for us to learn, to grow, to express ourselves, and to learn how to be a human being. It's a training ground. We all know it's a training ground. We come in here because it's safe. So we can go out in the world and we can excel. And we can be better than we thought we could be. So let's live our Toastmaster lives boldly. You with me? Boldly. What does that mean? Let's find out how we can support each other. Because everybody needs a little different kind of support. I learned that over 11 years. Can't give everybody the same thing. Be open to giving love and receiving love. Work through disagreements. Learn to stop blaming and arguing and upsetting each other. It happens, but let's get through it quickly. It's essential, I say, not just for the health of the club, but this is a world. So it's necessary for the survival of our planet. What we do here is reflected out in the world. Now, any of you who have ever played sports, you know the saying, how you practice is how you play the game. So if you're gonna come in here, you play full out. You don't relax. You don't sit in the back of the room and hope you don't get called on. How will I use my one precious, glorious, extraordinary life? I'm doing it. As the song says, let there be love in the world, and let it begin with me. But how are you going to use your one precious, glorious, extraordinary life? Mr. Contestant.
You have 1 minute on the clock, please. Our next contestant, Timothy Rickey. Cheaper by the dozen. Cheaper by the dozen. Timothy Rickey.
How many of you are from the large family here? All right. Would you believe a family of 12, 10 kids, and mom and dad are going to have a great time? I mean, we had a well, okay, I lied about this. You have problems, you have responsibilities you learn at a very young age. There's certain adjustments you have to make. As an example, if you're going to have enough beds for all of these kids, you don't put your head at the headboard, you put 3 this way lengthwise on the bed, see, to do that. That way it works out. Now, hand-me-downs, they weren't a problem for me. I have an older brother, and everybody else is younger than me. Now, my youngest brother, well, you can imagine what he got by the time the clothes got to him. They weren't in very good shape at that time. But there's those kind of problems that you have to adjust to. You become very responsible at a very young age. I could make crepe Suzettes at 7 because Dad taught me how to do it. Dad gave us lessons like, let me tell you about compound interest, which everybody should learn at age 7 or 8 because it's that important. And of course, they're going to teach you that at school to get you out of the trap they put you in. No, that's not going to happen, as you know. And Mom told me, Timothy, you know, you're ready to go into business for yourself now, but I'm going to tell you this, do not go into business with your father. Okay, and the third time I listened to it. Because it was a disaster. I could not work with my father. Two different mindsets, completely different mindsets. So I was successful on my own. But there was an incident I want to share with you today that was so profound, I'll never forget it. I took a Saturday off so Mom and Dad could take a weekend off and leave Chicago and go to east of Dubuque, Iowa, my dad's hometown. They'd never had that in the 25 years they were married. So they took off Friday night. Saturday morning I got up and I'm coming downstairs. My sister's got French fries going on the fryer on the stove. And she's out in the front yard sunbathing with her girlfriend. She was 14 at the time. And I said, Dawn, you got to keep an eye on those fries. She says, I will. 2 hours later, I'm down with the rest of the gang. See, we had our own baseball team plus a relief pitcher. And 90s, right? And my brother Jim was already going out of the house. So we're down there playing ball, and all of a sudden, over the hill comes Dawn. We have a fire in the house. We have a fire. Yeah, right. We have a fire in the house. So I immediately took off. I said, everybody stay here. Ran over the hill down there, and there's flames jumping out of the windows in the house. So I said, go to Helen's house and have her call the fire department right away. She takes off, I go there, I go around the back of the house, I grab the hose, I reel it and turn it on, and I'm spraying through the kitchen window trying to get that fire out, and all of a sudden, bzzzt. So we had our own pump, it was an electrical system. Fire, cut off the electricity, and that was that. About that time, the fire department showed up and said, who's in there? I said, no, they're all over there. They're down the street, they're okay. All right, step back, young man, get out of the way. So we went across the street to our neighbor's house. Our other mother, we call her. My mother's name was Helen, so was our neighbor. And she kind of really helped my mother because as she's having these kids, one after another, for 20 years, mind you. Somebody had to help. And they put out the fire. Then the Red Cross came by and said, what do you need? And I let my pride get in my way. I said, we don't need anything. And about 2 hours later, I'm feeling really guilty and realized, we need everything. All of these kids, no clothes, no shoes, all they got was on their back, including myself. I had a pair of sandals, shorts, and a sweatshirt on. So I talked to them, and they said, we'll get it straightened out. So the next day, Red Cross shows up with all these things. I went to live with my brother Jim. The kids were scattered all over the neighborhood. Well, you can't put them all in one place. There's too many of us. And then about a week later, my mother and I decided to go to the house. But before that, as they came home that night, we could see our street. It went along this way and came this way. Pitch dark. We're sitting on the steps of Helen's front stairs. And all of a sudden we see these lights and this car speed up. We knew it was Dad because Dad was used to seeing a house lit up with all the lights on because of all the children in there. And he pulled into the driveway and I run over to the car and said, Mom, the kids are right, the kids are right, the kids. I kept telling her over and over. She steps out of the car and she says, my kids. Mom, the kids are okay. And she looked at the neighbors who were starting to close in on her. And she didn't want that to happen. She didn't want people pitying her. So she just said, I didn't like the damn place anyway. They backed off really quick. But the next day, we decided to go into the house after the fire department allowed us, just to see if we could salvage anything. And the thing you're going to salvage most are those photos and all of the things that you get through all the years. Well, there wasn't much. Everything was soaked and soot. I could still get the smell of the fire. Whenever I smell something, it flashes me back. As we go through the house, we go upstairs to their bedroom. We're looking up there. And I started to lose it because I felt very responsible. I started crying. 19 years old, I'm crying. And my mother said, Timothy, stop it. I said, I'm trying, Mom, I'm trying. She says, Timothy, look. She points across the room to the dresser. Everything is covered in soot and water, except the item on the dresser had a perfect ring of nothing on it, not scratch, nothing. It was, and I'm telling you the truth, the family Bible. So if you don't believe in things, that may be a changer for you to believe in what are the possibilities, what are the miracles that come up in your life. 10 kids, we're all still here, we're all doing great. I tell you, I go over to Venice every weekend or two and see my brothers and sisters. They're slowly moving down here. Something about the weather up there. But being a family of 10 are memories you'll never, ever forget. I can imagine how difficult it must be if you're an only child. How that must be when you don't have those things to live with. When I have all of those memories, good, bad, and indifferent, the pounds in the arms, all of the things that happened to Ralphie happened to me. So keep in mind that being a big family of 10 is not an impossibility. So I didn't have any kids anymore. It's going to be fun, it'll be memories you'll never forget. At my mother's funeral, my brother got up to read the eulogy, my youngest brother. There were 500 people showed up. And he's reading it, and he finishes and he said, you know, for some reason, Mom always felt like I was the very best one. And it was at that moment in time we looked at each other and realized she had convinced all 10 of us the same thing. Mr. Postman.
May we have 1 minute on the clock, please? Our next contestant, Stephen Morgan, Stuck in My Head. Stuck in My Head, Stephen Morgan.
On the 30th of November, in the year 2000, my world ended in empty silence. The day began with a programming bug stuck in my head. I pondered the problem on my way to the office, where I encountered my manager. Hi, Mark. Yes, I got your email about the staff meeting this morning. What do you mean, I'm not going? Mr. Contest Master, dear friends, and those of you who have ever had your life turned upside down, November 30th, 2000 is stuck in my head, like my life is continuously turning upside down. Has this ever happened to you? I mean, sure, there are worse things you could get stuck in your head, like that song, Mark Ronson, Uptown Funk. Yeah, don't believe me? Just watch. For 6 months, my friend Wendell tried to stick in my head the idea of working at Object Space. When I finally jumped on board, I had a lot to learn, but I did. And 16 months later, I was promoted to lead architect of the org project. I was important. I was doing something important. Object Space was poised to go public. We were building the future. I was writing the hackers high. Say my name, you know who I am. Until November 30th, 2000. Until I was told to not go to that meeting. And to not tell anyone. So ask me, did you tell?
Did you tell?
Smoother than a fresh jar of skin. Hey, Wendell, stop. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Curse you, Mark Ronson. Wendell, no, I'm not okay. Listen, I just found out Object Space is running out of money. The staff meeting is to announce layoffs. Yes, I do know. Our whole department, including you. Except because the org product is the only one making money, they're keeping me. An hour later, it was over. everyone was gone. All we built was lost. That wasn't the worst. The worst came the next morning. As I walked past row upon row of empty cubicles, sat at my desk, and had absolutely nothing to do. The silent scream, they kept you because you're important. The emptiness answered, you're not doing anything of importance. Window called every few days, let me know when coworkers found new jobs. And I said, good for them. What I thought, they're in a better place. And also called to listen to my ups and downs. I got a job back in Florida. They won't let me do anything. My wife's pregnant. She miscarried. Our son is born. She has breast cancer. She wants a divorce. The emptiness swallowed everything. And time moved on, new jobs, new life. And through it all, Wendell still called to remind me I was important. But the emptiness remained stuck in my head. How do you get that out? The answer came, as all real answers do, after I'd given up. Found my son Richard lying on his bed, engrossed in a video on his phone. So I teased him. What new fad are you watching now? And you know what he said? Ask me what he said.
What did he say?
He said, Dad, I'm watching my basketball game that you uploaded. The what? The one I put up for your Aunt and Papa to see? Why are you watching it? You were there. Well, on the video, I can see what I do well. I can see what I need to improve. That's made me a better player. But, well, it's a small thing. But all this time, I've been doing something of importance. It's not about being important. It's about knowing you're doing something of importance. Before we leave, let me tell you all a little something. Oh dear. Okay, Uptown Funk really does funk you up. But what I mean to say is that when you find yourself stuck in your head, remember your head is small. Do something small. Record a video for your child to learn. Call a friend, remind him he's important. Tell your story. Change your outlook on life. In fact, I have something small to do. I'm going to call Wendell. And you know why? Ask me why.
Why?
Because I have this song I want to stick in his head. Mr. Contest Master.
All of the contestants at this point have spoken, so timers, may we have 2 minutes of silence for the judges to complete their scoring and for the ballot counters to collect the scorecards. All right. At this time, can I please get all of the contestants to come up to the front of the room? I know. These people here have accepted the challenge to come up here and get in front of everybody and compete in this speech contest. So I wanted you all to meet these brave individuals. Jonathan Dunn.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you tell us a little bit, something about yourself?
And just to think that I thought the worst part of the eating was having to answer a table topics question, I get the very detailed question of telling you something about myself. I am a father of two amazing children, Kaylee and Gunnar. My daughter is just about ready to turn 17, and she's still an angel. My son is 10, and what I wake up and do every morning is I own a wellness facility in Winter Park, and I haven't worked a day in 10 years because all I do from 5:30 in the morning till 6:30 at night is I help people become a better version of themselves. And it's been a fantastic thing, and it's actually what led me to Toastmasters. There was a client that came to my gym named Jeremy Udell, who, like us all, he was a very strong advocate, evangelist of Toastmasters. Is that adequate?
That's awesome. Tony Giddles.
Mark Lockerbie.
In your speech, you said
I did?
that we're a family. But you didn't say which one of us was that weird uncle that nobody really knows. I'm not going to ask you to give names now. So, you said in your bio that you just got done doing some reorganization. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Get rid of your clutter,
Hey.
change your life.
Hey! Whoa.
I have always had jobs where I was doing education, public speaking, research. I have saved every notebook and every file back to 1970. I finally bought a 3-bedroom house with a 2-car garage, and it was still overwhelming me, not to mention 3 shelves of Toastmaster manuals and files from this lovely club. John Dunn's girlfriend is a master declutterer, and we have worked for 6 weeks. I now have an office I can use. I now have a guest room, library, craft room, which is so beautiful that I personally decorated, which I've never done before, and I love every item in there and every book in there. And I have a brand new garden. Pulled out the azaleas and whatever was dying and started over. So come see my sunflowers and be happy and take love from them, and my 3 hibiscus plants, my bougainvillea, my lovely poinsettias, and all my bird bath, my frog, my big pot. Seriously, there's an iguana. Home goods. Stay away.
I'm the 7.
And I've gotten rid of several hundred pounds easily of clutter.
Yay.
And my workout was done.
You gotta file those.
I do. I have a file. I know where it is.
Sure.
My family, I really understood what it was like to get hand-me-downs. Especially when the next oldest one was a girl. Why don't you tell us all a little bit something about yourself?
I've been a Toastmaster for 18 years. I thought I could not enter the contest because I judged in a club contest, but I came here tonight and said, you're speaking tonight. So what I did was really off the cuff tonight. But keep in mind, you can do those things even though you don't think you can. You have stories in you. We all have stories. As the people I've trained through the years, I've always said, I don't know what to talk about. You live a story every day of your life. Let's hear them. We always want to, because they're always interesting, you know. But I've become an author. I have 18 books now because of Toastmasters. I work for Toni because of Toastmasters. All of this comes from this. It was quite a change in my life when I joined this organization. So stay with it, stick with it, and you'll see some incredible things happening in life. I'll keep it at that.
Jay Matrix, I'm glad that you entered the contest. It's okay, I've gotten it all. We're glad you entered the contest tonight. Could you share with the audience a little something about yourself?
Oh, certainly. The joy of my life has been raising my daughter, obviously. I am an accountant in the local area, and this time of the year, it's crazy normal. My daughter got married last November, which our club knows, so that was crazy for 6 months of planning the wedding. My daughter's father committed suicide 4 days before her 16th birthday, and we lived through a very rough time because shortly after that, we also lost our home in the hurricanes down in South Florida. When she was a junior going on being a senior in high school. That is part of why she decided to do what she's doing, and it required me to step up and be the best person, best mom, best leader, provide the strength in the bottom and the floor. I was a single mom her whole life for her. That taught me a lot about everything else in life and about being that bottom and being that floor for my clients, for my friends, for all the people in my life, and for the organizations that I involve myself with. So I'm always there to help, and I'm always the person that you can go to and you can ask. I will do whatever I can when I can, and that's who I am.
Stephen Morgan. Every time I read and hear that you're a hypnotist, it always fascinates me. So can you share a little bit about how you got started in hypnotism?
I got started. I was interested as a kid. I was experimenting, trying to find books, information. In high school, I was able to have a few friends, girlfriends, and be willing to try it, and I had some success with that. Some even more fascinating stories, freshman and sophomore years in college. Later on, I eventually got formal training. That was in 2001. In fact, that's where I was when the towers came down in that training, which is probably a good thing because we needed a whole lot more of it at that point in time. But I've since gone on. I've been trained as Train the Trainer, a certified instructor with the National Guild of Hypnotists. I've also gone learning neuro-linguistic programming, which is related. For those who don't know about it, it's more like doing hypnotic kind of stuff without the trance. It's the best way to put it. It's really what the marketers love to do if you use car salesmen. But I've learned those parts. I have fun using them, put them into the speeches so no one knows. But I'm happy to teach you, and occasionally taking clients on the side. The software engineering pays so much better. So that's why I keep doing that. I would love to shift gears to the other one. If I could build that up, I'd go there. So if there's anyone interested for more sessions, group sessions, want to do a stage show, it's fun. Happy to answer any of those questions you may have. Just ask.
I'll be calling a couple of you back up here in a few minutes. There is no Toastmaster meeting or contest, though, that can take place without the dedicated men and women who serve as our functionaries. The roles vary, and sometimes they don't even involve talking. However, each one is equally important, and without each and every one of them, this contest would not be possible. You all deserve something great like a gift card or something. However, after talking with our treasurer, we can't do that. certificates for your help tonight. So I'd like to call our functionaries up here to receive their certificates. And I will start with our timers, Susan Morgan and Richard Sapp. Our ballot counters this evening, Charlie Bombalier and Epi Bond. We have 3 sergeant at arms this evening, Edwin Mercado, Carol Sawyers, and Emma Hancock. Our judges will remain anonymous, but our chief judge this evening, Sarah Hunt, if you can come up here. And without a doubt, the most important role this evening is that of contest chair. This person is responsible for making sure that everything comes together. It's like the contest chair is the chef or the baker that bakes the contest pie and makes sure it's complete. Yes, it's another food reference. Add a little bit of timers, add in a little bit of sergeant at arms and a touch of judging, a pinch of ballot counters. It's a hard thing to do, which is no easy task because I'm always trying to steal a piece of pie. But our contest chair tonight was a wonderful baker. And this contest chair was like a culinary masterpiece, and it had all the right ingredients. She worked tirelessly to ensure everything came together, and in addition to being contest chair, she also served as timer, because I ate a piece of that pie a few days ago, and she had to fill that back in. Ladies and gentlemen, I am asking you to please pay attention to the woman behind the curtain, our contest chair, Susan Morgan.
Week and several weeks beforehand. Please give him a warm.
Do you have the count?
We should have the count, Sarah. You have?
Yep, you have it. Okay, this time I would like to call Thomas Blake, our Area 42 Director, up to help us.
50-50, Emma, there's
Like,
get over.
Thomas and I go over the results here real quick to make sure there's no discrepancy. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take that money.
Bring the money, leave the tickets.
That's drawing it.
Haven't had the drawing, and I already didn't get mine.
Yes. The payout's not as much.
Your schedule for next week yet?
I was doing too many other pies. I didn't do one.
Oh, well, I guess you forgot something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like my worst one. Bigger benefit than having the trophy. It's right there.
finish Jimmy? And then we will do the awards and then we'll do a couple more.
Yeah, I've heard.
Okay, the results of the Central Florida Facilitators Caucus are in. We'll start with table topics. We'll be announcing the second place and then the first place winners. Second place in table topics, Jonathan Dunn. Okay. First place for table topics, Stephen Morgan. Wait, where's our club photographer? Do we have one? Tim, can you anybody with a phone?
I've got both of them already.
You got it already?
Cool, we got posed.
Together, get them together.
We'll get, all right, get together, guys, we'll get that too.
We have to have them all.
Yes.
Smile. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Switching gears to international speech contest. Our second place winner, Stephen Morgan. And our first place winner for international speech, Jonathan Dunn. That's the announcements to go over. The area contest for Jonathan and Stephen will be March 20th at the Mayflower Retirement Center. March 30th will be our club's annual regifting auction at this location. Toni Gittles will be chairing the auction, so if you have any questions or have any items that you would like to donate to help us out, please contact Toni or email us on the back of the program.
Or if you'd like to be the auctioneer.
Yes, if you'd like to be the
I went last time. I had a great time. Lots of fun. Get you out of your shell. Hi, Roy. You've been.
Hi,
You've done all that. Let me know we're available. Love you. Love you. Giving love. Receiving love.
Receiving. Reflecting.
Our Division D contest will be April 17th at the Mayflower Retirement Center. And Mr. David Barrett, his email is on the back of the program. If you have any questions or need any more information on that, please contact David. The District Spring Conference with the theme In the Mood is May 20th and 21st at the Airport Marriott in Orlando. You can visit toastmastersd84.org for more information on that.
So much fun. You gotta
Susan,
go.
do we have next week's agenda by
No, we don't.
All right,
We will have it in email tomorrow.
okay. Yes, Jay.
Yes, for CFF members, just a reminder that dues for the March period are coming up, and I would like for us to be able to get our awards, and as your treasurer, I want to put the money in the bank so I can pay everything to TMI. So please bring your checks, cash. We don't take credit cards to the upcoming meeting.
Maybe next year we can get gift cards then if we keep
Maybe.
really going. Yeah.
Yeah. It's $45, that includes the TMI dues and the club dues for 6 months.
Any last people or any people want to get separated from their money? This is your last chance.
Yeah, bring them over, guys.
I'm gonna need change because we do not have an amount. We have more than what we have.
Yeah, I understand.
I can't split it.
Can't split
What do you
it.
need?
There's a
You
too
need
big a bill to
50 cents.
split.
Yes, you need 50 cents.
I might
I've got,
have 50
I've got, what we have is 16 each. I have a 20 and like 11 bills.
Yeah, I got $4 there.
Buying more tickets?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
let's get those sold so we can
Does that do it?
pay the parking ticket.
As we go from
Somebody to buy more than that, because I have some ones.
I've got change for a 20 if you need.
That's the,
You got it or?
No.
Yeah, I just.
grab Charlie's.
Just send
Here,
it.
I'll come
Grab
over
Charlie.
there and get it.
I'll get 6.
How much?
Oh,
$4.
$4.
$4 worth, what's $4 worth?
HP, four ones.
About $3.
Does that make it even?
While we're getting the last money for the 50-50, I'm going to invite Edwin back up here. He's got information on the area contest, which is coming up next month, since he's the chair.
Thank you for the opportunity. Now that we announced that the winners from tonight are competing at the area level, I wanted to let you all know that I'm chairing that contest. And from tonight going forward, I need functionaries for that contest. Now that your club contest is over, I'm gonna start sending emails, probably early tomorrow, to all of the membership of this club, so that you can start telling if you can attend that contest in support of your representatives at the contest and sign up for roles. I need timers, ballot counters, sergeant at arms, judges which are anonymous. I will reach out to all of you. So please start thinking about joining us on the 20th of March for the combined contest area 41 and 42. Thank you.
Or you're having two contests on the same day. We're area 42, aren't we?
Yes.
We're in area 42. What time do the contestants for area 42 need to be there? We don't have to sit through area 41, do we?
42s is 4 to 6.
So, but it starts at 4.
It's
so-
been pushed a little bit more because of the availability of the location. I'm gonna give you details in writing starting
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right, but we don't have to be there for both contests, or the contestants
The
don't have to be there?
contestants do not.
Okay,
The functionaries, I will
hopefully.
beg that you sign up for being functionaries for both contests. They are concurrent, one after the
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
right away after the other.
Okay, what's our total? What's our total?
We have $20.50 for the winner. So, who wants to?
Anybody who did not purchase a ticket want to draw a ticket?
Okay.
I want to win.
Yeah. You draw mine, okay?
Draw mine.
Draw mine.
This is the one with your name on it here?
Yeah, it is. Except for I think I lost. no,
1, 2, 3.
Yay!
1, 2, 3, yay.
8836.
Mine, 836 is mine. Yay! We're all going out to dinner. You're paying. Tony's paying your own.
More wine!
Any last announcements?
Nope.
Once again, I would like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight and making this contest a success. Meeting, contest adjourned.
Yay.
Okay.